As everything else in life, achieving clear mind and happiness needs a lot of intentional practice because it's learnable. Most of our pain comes from focusing on things we can't control that either already happened or we think will happen in the future. The solution is using mindfulness meditation to polish the skill of living in the present moment. Meditation is a huge topic. It has many different types and exercises. In this video, I will only share my limited experience with mindfulness meditation and how it saved me. Also, stay at the end. My friend, who is a psychologist, will join us to share her experience and some tips on how to get started. So stay till the end and let's get to it. Before anything else, let's clear out the misunderstanding about meditation. First, you don't have to be a monk, and you don't have to cross your legs and sit on top of a mountain. You can meditate in pretty much wherever, however, and whenever you feel like. There's a lot of science behind mindfulness meditation, but to keep things simple, I will only describe it in my own way. Mindfulness meditation is the habit of sitting with yourself in the present moment. Let's start with the why I started meditation at the first place. There was a point in my life where I was dealing with overwhelming amount of stress and anxiety, and my intense personality added more fuel to the fire. I was constantly feeling down, my self-image got blurred, and I didn't know who I am at all. I was easily irritated by the actions of the people I love and care. It didn't matter if they were doing good or bad to me. It got to the point where all I could feel was pain. I was desperately searching for ways to end this crazy destructive period of my life. That's when I came across meditation, and since then it's the single most important habit that changed my life in a profound way. At first I didn't believe sitting X minutes and doing nothing but breathe would help. Honestly, it was really hard for the first few weeks. Then I started noticing the benefits. The biggest benefit for me was the self-awareness that I get from it. Realizing my mind never stops was a total game changer. Observing my thoughts in a non-judgmental way allowed me to understand most of the things I'm scared of are actually made up by my mind. They weren't real. I also learned to have a little bit of patience and compassion for myself when things go sideways. This was very important discovery for me because I used to beat myself up if things don't go as planned. I became more calmer and caring to those I love. I start living in the present moment, and that was my first step to dealing with my stress. Let's pause there. I didn't say getting rid of my stress. I said dealing with it, because I believe that stress is something that we need to grow and become a better versions of ourselves. I figured that I'm not in the best position to share with you some tips on how to get started on meditation, so I called my friend Asma, who studied this subject more intensively, to share with us some tips and her experience too. Hi Asma,
Hello, Yasin.
smile. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, how are you? Ramadan Kareem.
Ramadan Kareem, Mulala. I'm really good. Thanks for taking the time to join us in here. Uh, why don't we start with your explanation of mindfulness meditation?
Personally, honestly, mindfulness have been a foreign thing for me as well, like at some point in my life, because honestly, nobody spoke about mindfulness ever before. I feel like it's a late thing, that it's a trending thing that people start to focus on, because people have seen effect in it. Those people who start using mindfulness back in the days, but now I feel like it's something that our community it is starting to understand slowly. Honestly, mindfulness, it's, the word mindfulness, if we try to look at it in a way, it actually means you being aware, you being conscious of the certain situation you're in. So I think it plays a huge part in our life to be conscious and to be aware of where we are or what we do and what we think or even feel. So yeah, I mean, mindfulness takes part in our daily life or daily routines. Those people who start using it actually become addicted to it, at some point, because when you realize how effective it is into your daily life, you would start to use it more and more often.
I'm addicted, basically. It saved me so much time and pain in my life. So I already shared my experience in the video. So why don't you share your experience too?
Honestly, it's been over a year, like a year and few weeks since I started mindfulness, and I would say it was so weird for me when I started, because I was asking myself, what exactly should I be feeling? Starting this, what is this? Just sitting around or closing your eyes, breathing, or even like things to do with our daily stuff, lives, like maybe talking or doing something or thinking about a certain decision to take. Honestly, mindfulness, we might think it's just sitting around and closing your eyes and focusing on your breath, but it's also focusing onto what you do, what you think, what you say. It's like you being mindful about your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. And at first it's so hard, because we have never been raised to think or to really realize our own thoughts and thinkings and feelings. It's just will take time for you to really adopt that into your daily life, because again, mindfulness, each day it's a different experience. For example, you start today, it might not feel anything to you. You might be like, what is this? Well, I'm like wasting my time. You do it a couple more weeks, you're going to be like, oh, okay, I didn't realize I was feeling that way. When you think about mindfulness in that certain way. And of course, taking breaths or being aware of how you breathe takes a bigger part, because your breath, it usually takes part into your blood flow, and that helps your brain and your body be more aware of the situation around it, of the feelings you're feeling, of the things you're thinking. So it will take time. I mean, it's something that will take time. Honestly, personally, I feel like I haven't reached to the peak yet, of course, but it's a huge difference than when I started. In the first few weeks, that my experience, the first few months until now, I'm still learning every day, but I feel the effect is actually very efficient and effective as well.
Wow, I actually had the same reaction to mindfulness. Honestly, I didn't actually like it at the first place because it was so foreign to me. Like I didn't believe sitting and not doing nothing, just focusing on your breath and what you're doing was really crazy for me. And yeah, so basically it was a strange experience for me. So, what kind of suggestions would you give to the audience on how to start, how they can start doing meditation or practicing mindfulness?
If I echo back at what you just said, honestly, it could be uncomfortable at first, because, again, we have never been trained or told to really think and to think about what we do, to think about our own selves. It's actually part of you taking time with yourself and basically rewarding your body, because our bodies sometimes send us signals telling us, I want this, I want to sleep, I want to go for a walk, I want to do this. But because we're not aware of our own bodies, our own thoughts, and our own emotions, we might ignore our needs and wants. So mindfulness, at first, it will be uncomfortable, because you've never really took time to focus on yourself. You've never took time to make that moment for yourself, to listen to your own body, to what it wants. So yeah, it's uncomfortable at first, of course. And I would suggest, from my suggestion, in my point of view, I would say start breathing. Just focusing on your breaths. And usually, mindfulness, you time yourself. So some people take 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes. Some people, sometimes it's to an extent of 30 minutes to 1 hour. So start small. You can start with 2 minutes or 3 minutes of breathing exercise. You just take a breath. You take the breath from your nose, and then you release it from your mouth slowly, while focusing to that breath. So it's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You can start with that, again, mindfulness, the word mindfulness is you to be aware and conscious of your own daily routines and your own stuff that you do daily. Just focus on what you say to others, what you do during your day, what you say, what you feel. That's also part of being more mindful of your own current situation. So it's starting with when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What's the first thing that you do? How do you wake up from your bed? How do you go in your morning routine? What are the things you do? You see, you can start by even listing down, taking a journal, writing down. You start looking into the small movements and the small habits that you do daily. That would help you be more aware and more conscious of your own self, basically, and start from there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. At first, I didn't thought that mindfulness was uh, taking a close attention to what I'm doing day to day, or if I'm talking to a person, if I'm doing my work, I could be mindful about that. But I only thought that it was just sitting down, doing the meditation stuff and all that. But it's absolutely way more than that. So yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. If you need anything to add, it's all to you.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me to this video. I would just say, don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to think outside the box, because again, as I said, we have never been raised as young children. Like in our society, we have not been raised, in many societies actually, to be aware and to be mindful of our current situation. And I believe if we learn to be mindful and conscious of our own current situations, there are many things in our lives that could go easier, smoother. Our decisions would even be better. Our own reaction towards others or things will even be more mindful and more wise. So I would say, don't be afraid to try it. Even if it doesn't work for you, what harm would it give you if you could go ahead and try? So thank you again so much for having me. I would go from there.
Thank you, Asma. Thank you so much. That's it for this video. If you want to read more about meditation and mindfulness, I will link my favorite books in down the description. If you want to learn more about psychology, check out Asma's channel. She teaches there about psychology in Somali language. So show her some respect. Okay, show her some love. Also, I would love to hear your experience about mindfulness meditation, so please share it in the comments section. I hope you enjoyed this video and get something out of it that will help you in your life. Thanks for watching and see you the next time.